today we're taking a look at the new Weber Searwood 600 XL. My old smoker, the pitboss, I loved it. It was my first smoker. Had it for several years. There were some things that I didn't love about it. So when I was looking for a new smoker, I wanted a smoker that solved all of my main issues. So this is just a first look. I have had a couple of smokes on it. Yes, I am keeping this. It's amazing so far. I'll do an update in a couple of months, but I want to give you a first look at why you should really consider this smoker. This is one of the, I say it's one of the biggest innovations I've seen in smokers in a long time. Not that I'm in this all day, every day, but I use my smoker 5 times a week. Like I love doing this. I am the newbie of the three. You've seen, we have Tony with his offset, we have Cody with his green egg. We all have pellet smokers. So we've tried quite a few different things. We've cooked for a lot of different people. But there's a few things that I just really hate about most pellet smokers. So maybe this is a great one for you, maybe not. But I want to cover in this video those big innovations, the thing that really sets this apart. And I'll give you kind of my thoughts overall on what makes this better. So number one, my biggest gripe of my old pellet smoker, I guess there's two of them, two number one gripes. The first one is the stupid bucket that catches the grease. I absolutely hate it. It annoys the crap out of me because here in Colorado, we get a ton of wind and that grease just, my deck's destroyed. I've power washed it, I've sprayed it, I've scrubbed it, I've done all sorts of things. And when I get it clean, it just gets dirty again, and then the process starts all over. So that I absolutely hate, and almost no smoker really takes care of this. There's a couple that'll tuck the bucket maybe directly underneath, so you're not like getting rain, and then it's overfilling, and then the wind. And I know you're probably gonna say, just empty the bucket. I'm lazy. My wife's told me that a million times. I don't do it. I'm guessing a bunch of you are like me as well. And the Weber Searwood has fixed that, which is phenomenal. So I want to show you where everything goes, where the grease goes, and actually where all the soot is caught. The other thing I hate about my old smoker and almost every other smoker is you have to clean it, like take it all apart, vacuum it out. It's this big long process that none of us like doing. We really hate it. And Weber, their solution to this is to catch both the grease and the soot down in this little container right here. So this is where the soot goes. You have a little scraper that you just push it into a disposable container, but I no longer ever have to vacuum this out, which is beautiful. And the grease gets caught directly below it, so there's no wind destroying my deck with grease and really it was just when it rained. It would overfill, it would blow everywhere. It's just a mess. That doesn't happen anymore. So it all goes into here, and then all of that gets trapped down into this, and you have these little disposable trays that just get thrown away. You buy them for $1 and you're good to go. So that by itself was enough to convince me to really want this. I did have a couple of issues with this, and we're going to talk about those, but because of that feature, I really didn't care, and I wanted to make this work because that was by far the biggest pro of this. Like everything's caught, no cleaning, it's just so easy. So that's one of the biggest innovations I think that they've made. The second biggest gripe that I have about my pitboss, and this is fixed on a lot of smokers that are over the $500 price point, but was the hot spots. So on this guy, there's actually no hot spots. How it works is it's a little unique in its heat. It's a little more direct heat than most smokers are, so it can go up to 600 degrees, which I absolutely love. You can see it's a little dirty here. I did do a couple of smokes on this, but the heat is a little more direct, so you can get it really hot, but the smoke was amazing. If you notice, there's no stack on this, and that's another thing that's different about this than other smokers. I was really looking at the Yoder, and Jeremy over at Mad Science's Barbecue did a taste test, basically without a blind taste test, and this produced more smoke than that. And I'm trying to get as close to an offset or a green egg as I can without actually having to put in the effort. And because this traps all of the smoke in here, you get a really, really smoky flavor. So my first smoke, we did some burgers and some hot dogs just to kind of break it in, see how it is. And the hot dogs were perfect. Like on my old one, they would get charred. They would just not turn out well. I'd have to pay attention to them quite a bit to get them to turn out well. I hardly paid attention on this, and they were perfect, which was amazing. The other thing is that everything I cooked, no matter where it was pretty even. And when I checked the app, because this does have an app, which I love that, and my old one didn't, to get the temperature back up to where it needed to be, it was about 3 minutes. It was really, really quick, really, really fast, held all of the smoke in here. It checks all the boxes for me. And actually on the burgers, I normally smoke them for about 30 minutes. My wife's a little sensitive to smoke flavor. She likes it, but she tastes really, really well. And so on this, the 30 minutes, she's like, that was almost too much smoke. I almost can't eat it. And so I have to reduce on some of the smaller items how much smoke and just turn up the temp because it was too much, which is beautiful because then I'm gonna test some ribs, we'll test some brisket. I bet we're gonna get a really, really good smoke flavor out of this because of that. The other thing that I didn't love about my smoker was the second shelf, and I don't know how many shelves. One, this has storage for your second shelf right behind, which is absolutely beautiful. But most smokers that I've seen, and mine for sure, didn't really have enough room to be able to have this in here and use it, which I really, again, didn't love. But the thing is here, if I can install this, you can tell I've only taken it out once. There's enough space here to really make this usable. The first time that I cooked the burgers, I was able to put burgers in there, flip them over underneath this really, really well. Use the top shelf for more hamburgers or hot dogs, all of it. They fixed this because also on my old one, the lid only opened, like it would leave this big of an opening because of how it's cut, whereas this, the entire top comes up. So I feel like this upper shelf is really, really usable, which I actually just felt like I would have this hanging on the back all the time because of my previous experience, but I really think that they fixed that in this. A couple of other things that you see on nicer smokers, there's a pellet drop. So the pellets will actually release out the back and you can swap your pellets out, which is beautiful because I had some old pellets in here. There's some pellets that I really love. I'll do a video on those, but they produced too much soot for my old smoker. I'd have to clean it out every 5 smokes or so, and it just was a pain. But this catches everything, so I can use those again and not have to worry about all the cleanup. So I don't know how that's gonna go. We'll make a video on that, but I'm really, really excited because everything that I've done on this so far has just turned out beautifully. I mean, I've only cooked a few things and we're actually about to do a rib video, but it was just beautiful. So biggest innovations there are essentially the catch pan in the bottom. The no smokestack I think is awesome because you get more smoke. They do have some accessories like a rotisserie, like some of the other things you can get on most smokers, but I do want to talk about the issues that I had with this. So one, when it arrived, there was a scratch on the lid, and I expected Weber just to say, hey, I'm so sorry, let's give you a free cover, or something like that. They expedite shipped an entirely new lid, and the scratch, I mean, it was about the size of a quarter, so I was really, really impressed. The other thing is the control unit here didn't work. It worked the first couple of smokes and then it stopped, and I had no idea what was going on, and I finally, after a couple of days of tinkering, noticed that if I pulled the control panel out, which you can do because this is just magneted on, it would turn off. And then if I'd get it situated just right, it'd turn back on. I found out it's just a faulty cable underneath, and they also expedite ship one of those. And so a couple of quirks. I've talked to other people who have brought new smokers. Almost every single person had some issue, which I find kind of interesting. But other than that, and Weber being really, really good about taking care of me, I haven't had any issues with it. So we will be doing some more in-depth reviews. We're gonna do that rib video I'm talked about just earlier, but overall thoughts on this: if you're gonna spend about $1,000 on a smoker, you can get $900 for the smaller one, about $1,100. I bought it through BBQGuys.com for $1,100 for the bigger one. I did a lot of research to find this, and it has blown me out of the water, even with the huge expectations that I had for it. So if you're questioning whether or not you should buy this guy, I absolutely recommend it. I haven't smoked on or seen any other smokers that compare feature-wise, at least for what I was looking for, because I am the lazy guy that doesn't want to vacuum things out and want to be able to grill and only have one machine here. It's fantastic. So we will do an update in probably about 3 months or so. But if you're looking at this, this is by far my favorite smoker I've ever used. And the smoke profile that it gives is just, it's amazing. So that's all I wanted to say. I want to give you a first look at this guy. And so far, it's been absolutely amazing. If you want to see another incredible video on how to cook some of our favorite foods, click this video right here.